All right, let's jump right in. Look, we all know AI is a total game changer for finance and accounting departments, right? It's making everything faster, smarter, but there's a huge catch, and it's a big one. These same powerful tools are opening up some really serious vulnerabilities. We're not just talking about minor issues. We're talking about leaving the financial heart of your company wide open to attackers. And just so you know where we're getting our information, everything we're about to cover in this explainer is pulled straight from Chapter 5 of a tutorial by Virtualization Options LLC. And this quote right here, wow, it really hits the nail on the head. We're not just talking about some data getting lost. No, this is way bigger. Imagine attackers getting your secret financial plans and using them against you. They could front-run your acquisitions, blow up billion-dollar deals, or even manipulate the stock market. We're talking catastrophic damage. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about just how high the stakes really are. Then we'll get inside the mind of the attacker and look at their playbook. After that, we pivot to the good stuff, the solutions. How do you actually spot these threats? How do you build up your defenses? And what do you do if the worst happens and you get hit? All right, first things first, let's really get a handle on the risk. You know, when we say financial data, it's easy to just think of spreadsheets and numbers, but it's so much more than that. This is the absolute crown jewels of a company. It's the most secret, most valuable information you have. And there's a specific term for what's really at risk here. It's called material financial information. And trust me, if this stuff leaks, it's not just a bad press day. It's a full-blown legal nightmare. We're talking insider trading investigations, huge fines from regulators. This is the kind of leak that has massive, real-world consequences. Okay, so we get it. The stakes are incredibly high. But how do the bad guys actually get this information? Let's pull back the curtain and look at their playbook. So take a look at this. These aren't just random smash-and-grab attacks. Oh no, this is calculated. It's methodical. Attackers are smart. They wait for the perfect moment, like right in the middle of a big merger when everyone's distracted. And they don't just come after you directly. They go after your weak links, your external partners, like investment banks and law firms. Their goal is crystal clear. Get that juicy, non-public info to make illegal trades. And the scary part? They're patient. They'll sit inside your network for months, quietly stealing data, and you might never even know they're there. So, with a threat this calculated, how in the world do you even begin to fight back? Well, it all starts with detection. You've got to see the invisible, spot the attack while it's happening, or, even better, before it does any real damage. But here's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you spot an attack when your finance teams are already swamped? I mean, think about it. The attackers hit you during earnings calls, big board meetings, or right in the middle of a huge deal. That's when everyone is distracted, and let's be honest, security isn't always top of mind. The only way to do it is with a multi-layered strategy. First step, you've got to have financial cycle awareness. Basically, you know when you're going to be busy, so you need to crank up the security monitoring during those times. Simple, but effective. Then there's behavioral analytics. This is so important. It learns what's normal for your users, so when an attacker gets in, even with a legit password, their weird activity sticks out like a sore thumb. Next, content classification. Think of this as an automatic alarm that goes off anytime someone tries to feed super sensitive data into an AI tool. And last but not least, you have to watch your partners. Your security is only as good as the security of your law firm or your consultants. Okay, so detection is huge. But let's be real, preventing the attack from ever happening is the ultimate goal, right? And to do that, you've got to build a fortress, a multi-layered defense designed just for your financial data. I mean, think about it like this. You wouldn't hash out the details of a top-secret merger in the middle of a busy coffee shop, would you? Of course not. So why on earth would you use a generic public AI tool for your company's most sensitive financial secrets? It's the same thing. The difference between those public tools and a dedicated finance platform is night and day. We're talking isolated systems, beefed-up encryption, the kind of heavy-duty controls you absolutely need for this stuff. But it's not just about the tech. You also need strong procedures in place. Things like data masking, where you scrub out sensitive names and numbers before the AI ever sees them. Or dual authorization. It's a classic for a reason. The old two-key rule means no single person can cause a disaster. You also need to have special security plans that you can switch on, like flipping a switch to high alert during a big deal. And inside your own company, you need those Chinese walls to keep information from leaking between teams. Oh, and you absolutely have to hold your outside partners to the same high security standards. Look, even with the best fortress in the world, you still need a plan for what happens if someone gets through. You have to be ready for the worst case scenario. Because if a breach happens, what you do in those first few hours, it's everything. And the first thing to realize is this is not just an IT problem. Look at step 1. Call your lawyers, specifically securities lawyers. This instantly becomes a legal and regulatory crisis. You got to get the board in the loop, figure out exactly what was stolen, and start watching the stock market like a hawk for any weird activity. Every single step here is about containing the fallout, not just the tech side, but the massive financial and legal mess too. Which really brings us to the one last critical question you have to ask yourself. There's no doubt your AI is creating value, but if you don't have the right protections locked down, who is it really creating value for? Is it for your company, or is it for some attacker just waiting in the shadows to use your biggest secrets against you?